For today's project, we are using some wire from our wire wrap bundle that you can purchase on jessijamesbeads.com. This comes in both the silver color and the gold color. This is a perfect wire wrap bundle for beginners as well as advanced wire wrappers because you're getting a little bit of everything here. You're getting 4 sizes of your wire wrapping wire. You're getting 24 gauge wire. This is the perfect wire for smaller wire wrapping or working with beads that have a smaller hole. You also get 22 gauge wire. This is my go-to wire. I use this for almost all of my wire wrapping needs, particularly when I'm creating wrapped and simple loops. Also 20 gauge wire. This is also another very universal wire that you can use in exchange with the 22. Some people prefer one over the other, but they are great for any of your simple wire wrapping needs. And last but not least, the 18 gauge wire. This is a heavier gauge wire. This is perfect for creating wire components that you're going to use to wire wrap with some of your smaller gauge wires onto. Today we're going to be creating a teardrop shaped earring, and we're going to use the 18 gauge wire as the structure for our earring. We're also going to be using some beautiful Japanese Tensha beads that are available at jessijamesbeads.com as well. You can get these in a pair, so they are perfect for creating earrings just as we will be doing today, but they also make beautiful focal beads all by themselves and can be a great feature for a necklace, pendant, or a bracelet. All of the items that are in today's video are available on jessijamesbeads.com, so let's get started. For today's project, I will be using a rose-colored Tensha bead. I'm using 2 of these, 1 for each of my earrings. And then you're also going to need 12 inches of 22 gauge wire from the wire bundle. I am using gold color for this, but feel free to use the silver if you prefer. The first step to our project is creating a wrapped loop on one end of our 12-inch piece of 22 gauge wire. I'm grabbing the wire with my chain nose pliers about 2.5 to 3 inches down on the wire from the end. I'm going to bend that wire 90 degrees. I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers and create a wrapped loop. Guiding the wire up and over, round nose pliers. Adjusting my grip, guiding the wire on around. And now we want to take the tail end of this wire and we want to wire wrap around the long section of wire about 6 times. Once you have created your wrapped loop at the top, trim off your tail and you're ready to add your Tensha bead. Bring the Tensha bead all the way down to the wire wraps that you created, and where the wire is exiting the bead, you want to bend that wire 90 degrees to one direction, and then you want to take that wire and guide it along the surface of the bead, working upwards, curving the wire along the side of the bead up to the wire wraps at the top. Bring your wire to the front of the wire wraps that you have created and then wrap around, going to the back and then back up to the front and coming out the other side of the bead. So now you have wire wrapped along the surface on one side of your bead. We're going to guide our tail of our wire down the surface of the bead, working down towards the hole where we started, and then we want to guide that wire along the surface of the bead, going behind the first wrap that we made along the surface of the bead and back up towards the wire wrapping at the top. With your wire going across the front of the wire wraps, take your wire and wrap it around the back and back to the front, coming out the other direction. So now on one side we have 1 wire wrap and on the other side we have 2. Guide the wire on down the bead, going behind the wire wrap that you just created, on around the surface all the way down the bottom of the bead and then back up around to the top. Going in front of the wire wraps that you just created, take the wire and wrap it around the wire wraps to the back, to the front, and then one more time to the back where we are going to trim our tail. Before we move on to the next step, we're going to grab a 6mm jump ring and thread that through the loop on the top of our bead. Close the jump ring and then sit your bead to the side. For the next step, you want to cut a 5-inch piece of 18 gauge wire and grab your artistic wire mandrel with the round mandrel top, also available at jessiejamesbeads.com. You want to take your 18 gauge piece of wire right in the middle and hold it down with your thumb on the very largest mandrel section of your artistic wire mandrel, and then you want to guide the wire around towards the back of the tool, creating a teardrop shape out of your wire. When you remove the wire from the tool, this is the shape that you've got. Using the smallest mandrel of your small bell making pliers or using your round nose pliers, grab the tip of the end of the wire on one side and use your bell making pliers to roll the wire backwards, creating a loop that goes to the back of your component. So when you're looking at the component head on, that loop disappears. You only see it from the side. Repeat that process on the other side. Place your teardrop shape onto your steel block and use your nylon hammer to work harden both sides of your earring component. Now we're ready to assemble our earring. Grab a 6mm jump ring, go ahead and open that up. You want to thread this onto one of the loops at the top of our teardrop earring component. Before we thread that through the next loop on our component, go ahead and thread on the 6mm jump ring on the top of our Tensha bead and then through the next loop on our component. And before you close your jump ring, add your ear wire. Once you've closed your jump ring, your earring is complete. Repeat these steps to create your second earring and you have a pair of beautiful Tensha bead earrings using some of the wire from the Jessie James Beads wire bundle kit that comes in both the silver and the gold. Pick that up as well as your jump rings over on jessiejamesbeads.com.